Hey everyone, Mike Pachenik here with Neighborhood TV. Today we are talking to a Roswell father. His name is Jason Rochester. I met him several years back when I was a reporter at Channel 2 Action News because he was dealing with a situation where his wife had self-deported to Mexico. She was stuck there, unable to get back, and their son was in the hospital dealing with cancer. Well, fast forward several years, his wife is still in Mexico, and he has been to DC several times to fight to get her permission to come back here. And I wanted to get an update from him about where things stand. Well, Jason Rochester, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Good to see you again. Let's start at the beginning of this situation. Tell me how you met Cecilia.
We met at work years ago, like 2004, I believe, was the year that I actually met her, and I fell in love with her pretty quickly because she was beautiful and had a nice smile and a very big laugh.
Let's talk about her situation. She came over here from Mexico.
She was scared. She didn't want to tell me that she was undocumented because she was afraid that I wouldn't like her, or she may even been afraid that I may tell somebody.
At what point did she decide that she needed to go back because she was worried about the repercussions of other people finding out that she wasn't here legally?
We started the process of trying to adjust her status, and we had a lawyer here in Atlanta, I wish I could say his name, that got us into the system, and we should have never even started the process. So we had no idea that her case was as serious as it was, but our lawyer told us that he could have her back in 6 months if she ever got deported. After Trump took office, he removed the executive orders, and when he removed the executive orders, now Cecilia was basically just like any other undocumented immigrant. It didn't matter if she was a housewife or a drug dealer or a gang member. She was everybody was in the same classification. In January of 2018, we found out that she had a permanent 10-year bar, which meant that she could not come back to the country. She could not file for a visa. She could not do anything until her 10 years was up outside of the country. And therefore, she would have to start that 10-year clock. So she was very scared that something was going to happen, and she didn't want to get arrested in front of Ashton. He was only 4. So could you imagine the trauma?
So she went back to Mexico, and during that first initial phase when she was gone, Ashton was diagnosed with cancer. Tell me about that, and tell me about the fight you waged to try to even get her back here to be by his bedside.
So he went down for the summer to see her, and he was there 10 days. And Cecilia was drying him off after a shower, and she noticed this large protrusion sticking out of his left side. And she sent a picture and was saying, "This doesn't look right." I didn't want to come home without her, but I didn't have a choice. I mean, you can't just say, "We have an emergency, she needs to get on the plane." And so I was dealing with finding out that Ashton had cancer and my wife's in another country. We were denied, even though Ashton was battling cancer, going through chemo, going through radiation.
How's Ashton doing?
We actually had his scans the other day.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
What grade are you in now?
Fourth.
Wow.
I know children are resilient, but it's more than he should have to deal with. I know that. I wouldn't wish it on any child in the world. It's very sad.
Let's talk about where things stand with the American Families United Act. You've been up to DC several times. You've worked with several different members of Congress.
So we're pushing the Congress to put it on the calendar to be voted on. So it is doing good. We've got almost 80 co-sponsors, 3 Republicans, which is really phenomenal, actually. But we're pushing to get a senator. The American Families United Act gives the opportunity to get a waiver, and then it doesn't give you automatic citizenship. It doesn't give you anything. It gives you a chance to be heard in front of a judge, and then the judge can say, okay, you're married to a citizen, you have a child by a citizen, and he is a citizen, and you've never gotten in trouble for any crimes. So he can say, okay, now you have a right to stay together.
What do you say, Jason, to anybody who would argue that Cecilia came here illegally? She knew she was not documented. Why should she get any kind of special dispensation?
I understand that people don't like it, and there are some people that we don't need here. I don't consider it special treatment. We tried to do the right thing. We tried to do it by the law, but the law is so twists and turns and screwed up that it's impossible for some people. I wouldn't consider it special treatment. It's not like we're saying we want automatic citizenship. We're just asking for a chance.
Well, thank you, Jason Rochester, again, for taking the time to update us on the situation, and Ashton as well. And I'm sure that you will definitely keep us posted going forward.
And thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
For Neighborhood TV, I'm Mike Pachenik.